Alright everyone, thank you for coming back to my channel. So this video we will continue to look into the integration test for making a call, but where we left off on how we were creating the user to carry on with the rest of the test. So if you're interested, please carry on with this video. Now I knew that this thing would take so long to explain. This is why it's taking me so long to come this far, right? So if we then, let me just bring this down. If we just then come back to this test again, register a user. So we've explained that we need to generate a data, pass on the header into this method, and which also then we store it into a response variable, a string type response entity variable. We store it into that, and then we want to store that the body of that response body. So we use the get body on it, and then we store it as a string, and then we want to log it, because during the test I want to see if we have actually successfully created the user. And then what we are the next bit that we want to do is assert it, right? So every test needs an assertion. This is the reason why I had to hard code the name of the user. I had to hard code it. That's why. So I can just say, hey, assert true the actual results, that is this that we got out of the body, contains the original. Yes, that means that person we've actually created it. You can also carry on and add more assertion to this, but I've kept it this way, so simple, right? So register a user. That's what happens when you do it. So the next test that we want to do is logging in. Again, that test belongs to the authentication controller, right? And we are logging in this way. Okay, so we, in order to come up with that test, we can't rely on this test, which is the registration test, right? We can't rely on it. We've got to come up with a new what do you call it, we've got to start off from scratch. Yeah, so that's why it's the same thing here. We are generating the user. We've already spoke about this method and the generation method and what it does, right? And then we, once we get the results, we then have to also make a call to the register user. So to do the register user, we generate and then we pass the headers plus the generator results, right? Every time we want to create a user, we generate the data, except two things: the username and password. Except the first name and password, which makes it easier for me. Right, and then what the next bit to do is to so in order to log in, we create the user, we assert that the results is true. So we say assert that the HTTP OK response, which is that one, dot get status is also okay. So that's how we are saying assert equals. All right, then we taking the response body, get body out of response body, and storing it into this variable, which is a string type, right? And we are saying assert that it is not a null. So first we check the status. The second bit is, hey, is the body a null? Okay, right? And then we want to extract the username out of the body. Okay, so we said we get a string type of variable, and then we say, oh hey, this is another method that is in the base that we are making use of, and at the moment I think this method is failing. This test will fail because I need to do something about how I did it. Okay, so if it doesn't fail, then it's failing from somewhere else, because I already checked it. having said that, we pass on the response as a string to the response object as a string. The response body will have a whole body, right? And we are restoring it as a string, and then we are passing it on to this method to extract the username. Now let's take a look at this method. So this method is also in the base class, and this method, what it all is doing, this method. Yeah, so this method, as I was saying, sorry, I had to break off because there were some noise at the background. So this method then takes a mapping object, it creates a new one, and then it stores the body that we pass it on, that body we generated, pass it on to it, and it stores into a node, a root node. Then it uses that root node, it takes it extracts the test, this one, out of it. So whatever is for the username is extracted and put it into this variable, a string variable, and then returns it. Okay, so that is for the login. So let's see if we can go back to where we were. Yeah, there we go. Right, now when I run this test, it fails. Well, let me finish and then we can go back ahead. Okay, so it says check the status is okay, and you can see here that the status is expecting 201, and that's because I've updated the backend. So that's why before it would work, now it's saying hey no. And it then says, right, and take the response body, store it into here and check that it is not a null. And then the extracted body, the extracted one, pass it and save it into here, right? And then it says the login. Now we want to log in, so we call a method called login. When we log in, it returns a token. Okay, when we log in, it returns a token. So we have a password, we get in the password from the registration that we registered before, and that password, out of that we are and then passing on the other parameter, which is the username that we extracted. Yeah, and then we're storing the response here in this string, and then we are logging the response, but then we are checking, we are setting to make sure that the response is a null. Now the response that where we are, when we run this test, we get an error, and it just complaining about this assertion. So let's run the test again, and then we can then fix that error. It's very simple, easy. I thought it was a big problem, but it's not. So it's always good to double check your results rather than drawing to a conclusion. And so it just says, you know, it's supposed to be okay, but it returns 302, 301, and just want more results. But we've already checked that we can create a user, so that's fine. So let's just check this one. I'm just gonna take this one and just says dot and say dot. You can see there's okay the internal error and stuff, so we won't create it because that's what it's expecting. So let's hope this passes and there's no other problem for that one. Nope, there's another problem which we have to look into and see what's wrong now. It highlights the problem, isn't it? It highlights it here, so you can't get the token. No, cannot retry due to a server authentication in streaming node. Okay, and This is what I probably saw earlier. It says something is a no. Exception provoke. Could be a no. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna go on to gonna go to back here. I'm just going to log into here first. I'm just going to run this one. We know we can create a user and it passes, so this bit is fine. The next bit we are going to look is here. So we are storing, taking this password, and we're taking this password from the user we register. So we register a user here, passing on to here, and then that. So let's just see if we can get more info, because right now I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on. So it gives us more information. It says success, registered successfully, but sometimes, yeah, and then the password is authenticated, and it gives us the username as Georgina something with the end, Georgina last name, email address, telephone number, and all that stuff. It looks fine to me. Okay, I think I know why it's doing that. Either it's being controlled by the RabbitMQ, which I took off. So I'm gonna come off this one and investigate it. I have a feeling something to do with the RabbitMQ. This shouldn't be failing. All right, then I'm going to end the video here, because anymore and it will prolong the video. And see you in the next one. Thank you for coming back to my channel.